Welcome friends to this video. Usually on this channel I grow avocado trees, but today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you how to make a face mask. Yes, this is an avocado face mask. I managed to get my hands on some avocado material and I've made a handful of avocado face masks which I've been wearing when I'm going out and about. It's important to be on brand when you're protecting yourself and others, of course, but you don't need to use avocado material to make a face mask. You don't even need to use fabric like this that you buy at a craft shop. You could use a t-shirt. I've made a number of masks out of t-shirts, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I make a mask entirely by hand out of materials that you most likely have already at home. And anybody can make a mask. All you need is a little bit of patience, a handful of materials that you probably have already got around home, and the willingness to learn. Men, I know that about half of the people who are watching now are men according to my YouTube analytics. Don't let the stigma that might be around sewing deter you from making masks. After all, there is nothing unmanly about taking action to learn a skill which will help you to protect yourself and those around you. This is for everybody. And sewing is a really important skill to have. It's really helpful to be able to fix things yourself. I won't go into any more detail about that now. This is for everyone. It's important that everybody does their bit. So let's get to it. But before we go any further, just a quick disclaimer that making these masks and wearing a mask is not going to guarantee that you stop the spread of viruses. If we wear them correctly and we make them well, there's a good chance that we will lower the risk of passing things on, lowering the risk of airborne transmission, but it's no guarantee. It's just going to lower the risk, not to zero though. But it is going to help reduce the spread of airborne particles, and it's going to help when we mix it with other strategies for reducing the spread of viruses. It's going to help us out. To make a mask, you will need fabric. I'm using about a 35 by 35 centimeter square bit of fabric with avocados on it, of course. As I said before, you can use a t-shirt for this instead. You'll need a highlighter, or in the very least something to mark the fabric. Generally something that's water-based would be better so that it washes out. This could be a pencil, it could be chalk if it's something darker, but I'm going to use a highlighter for today. You'll need a safety pin. This is going to help us to thread the elastic through holes later on. You will need scissors to cut the fabric. Fabric scissors are ideal, but if you don't have any of the scissors that you have lying around that are sharp will do the job. You'll need a paper template to base your design off. So what you can just do is to put into your search engine panel mask template, and you'll come out with a range of different sizes for different faces, you know, children's face, adults' faces, to come up with a perfect design for you. You might adjust your design over time. I certainly have, to come to the perfect solution for your face. You will need some thread, of course, and you'll need a needle. I'm using white thread, but any color will do, and I'm just using a regular needle. You can buy these almost anywhere, including at your supermarkets generally. So I'm not going to be using a sewing machine today. I'm going to be doing this by hand to show you that it's possible, but without very much technology or materials, that you can do this. It's available to everybody. But if you have a sewing machine, it's going to make things a lot quicker. You know, in terms of time, I'm not a great sewer. This is probably going to take me a bit over an hour to make. We'll speed it up for the video, of course. It's going to be less time on a sewing machine. I can generally make one of these in about half an hour on a sewing machine. And that's with my limited experience. You'll get better at it over time. You'll also need something to make the straps out of, to actually put it onto your head. I'm using elastic, but if you don't have access to elastic at the moment, twine, string will do the job, cord, or finely cut strips of t-shirt material will also do the job. I've used that on a number of mine, and I've been surprised how easy it works. And to make the middle layer today, we're going to use part of a reusable shopping bag. As you can see, I've already used some of this one. It's made of a material which is a little more waterproof, just the way that the cotton and canvas is bound, and it's thicker than the outside material, so it makes for a reasonable middle layer. To start, trace your template. So use a highlighter or other marker to go around the flat laying template. You can rotate it to try and fit it better on the piece of fabric, and you're going to want to, once you've done two of those, flip it over so that you get a mirror image. The sides that I do from one side of the template, I mark with a 1, and when I flip it, I give it a 2. I should have 2 1s and 2 2s. I'm going to put the 1s and the 2s together in just a moment. So we just want to make sure that we've got 2 facing either way. Once the panels are traced out, use your scissors to carefully cut them out. Then pair the 1s and 2s. You're going to want to press them together with the pattern side facing in, so that we've just got the plain white outside facing out. That is the outside. We're going to stitch them together inside out, which will help us to have a nice neat finish at the end of this project. So with the pattern side facing in, sew the long round edge together. Come in about 1 centimetre from the very edge of it so that we're not going over, we're not having any gaps, and sew it together. Take your time. You want to make sure that you have a knot at the start of any time you do some hand sewing, and at the end. Take your time. Try not to prick yourself. Use a thimble if you need to. Once you've done this for both of them, take one of them, fold it out, and that's going to give you a rough idea for how big you want your middle bit of fabric to be. So lay it on that bit of bag and just start cutting so that you have a panel which is a similar shape, a little bit smaller than the one that you've got made of fabric. Once you're happy with the shape, place it on the white side or the back side of one of the panels and sew one line at either end. Try and get it as straight as you can. Because I didn't the first time, I used a pin to make it a little straighter. It'll keep its shape reasonably well inside the mask if you sew one line on each side. Now we're ready to sew both halves of the mask together, so the front and the back. So once again, place the 2 panels that we now have face together, so with the pattern side facing each other, and sew around the long edges. Don't go to the ends just yet, because we're going to need to leave them free for in just a moment. So we'll do this for both sides. Take your time. So once you've sewn it together, you've got an inside out mask essentially now. So we're going to want to turn it right side in. So feed it through one of the open ends until you've got your mask. We're now going to want to make our holes or the loops for our elastic or string to go through. At any of the still open parts, to make it just a little bit neater, fold them about 1 centimetre in. So do that for each of the 3 outside parts on either end, including the very end one, and then fold it, the whole thing towards the center. And you're going to want to be doing this all on the back side of the mask. So the side that has the stitching from stitching the inner layer to the outer layer is going to be the side that's facing your mouth. It just looks a little bit neater. So do that there. You might want to use a pin to help hold it together. Then sew one line along the folded edge bit to make sure that you've got a loop that holds together. Then do that on both sides. Remember, you should have a loop that you can pass something through in it. Once they have both been sewn together, you're ready to add your elastic or whatever it is you're using to tie it onto your head. So I'm using elastic. Put a safety pin through the end of the thread or the end of the elastic, whatever it is you're using, and feed it through one of the loops. Then, without crossing it diagonally over the mask, pass it over and pass it through the loop on the other side. And you'll be able to get a nice loop of elastic or whatever it is you're. To make it the right size for you, you're going to want to wrap it around your head a little bit. So you're going to want to have one bit that's sitting on your neck, and then the other part's going to be sitting above your ears, kind of sitting around the crown of your head. And to just adjust how much elastic you need until you find something you're happy with, hold on to that part. Make sure it's pulled a little bit because it's elastic, and then you're going to cut that bit of elastic, and now we're ready to sew it together. So sew the 2 ends together, take your time, give it a stretch to make sure that it's going to hold together, because if it falls apart it's not much good. And congratulations, you have made a mask. Now, before you wear your marvelous handcrafted mask out into the world, give it a wash, just throw it in the washing machine. Once it is clean and dry, before you put it on, sanitize your hands. Then, without touching the center of the mask, so only handling around the edges, so the top edge, the bottom edge, and the sides, adjust it onto your face. Then don't touch your face. If you, for whatever reason, do need to touch your face, first sanitize your hands, Do whatever you need to, and then before you touch anything else, sanitize your hands again. You're going to want to make a couple of these if you're going to be out all day. You want to be changing these every few hours. If you don't, they're not going to be as effective. So every few hours, change them over. Put any used ones in a plastic bag. That is your dirty bag. Don't touch them, they go straight into the washing machine when you get home. And there we have it. You might want to trial different designs, different sizes for the actual panels. So get creative, experiment around with it, do your best, take care. Stay safe out there, make sure you're listening to the advice of experts, look after yourself and those around you. And thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful and enjoyable. Be sure to subscribe if you're here for any other avocado content. Thanks very much again for watching, and I will see you next time.
Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree.